1 week ago, early in the morning on Tuesday, March 26th, Baltimore changed forever when the Dolly cargo ship collided with the Francis Scott Key Bridge, causing it to collapse and taking the lives of 6 construction workers. Each of those workers had a unique story that brought them from countries in Central America to our cities and counties here in Maryland. But what united them was their bravery. They worked during the late night and early morning shifts on the bridge, tasked with keeping the roadway safe for motorists. I'm grateful for the surge in support for their families, and our state and the world grieve their loss. We will not forget those who lost their lives in this incident, and we will honor their memory in the rebuilding process. All Marylanders are deeply grateful to the pilot who called Mayday and to the Transportation Authority police who acted quickly to stop the flow of traffic over the bridge. They, along with all of the first responders, acted so quickly to try to rescue the construction workers, risking their lives in an effort to save another. Watching the collapse on video, and then standing in the park overlooking the bridge and the Dolly ship on Tuesday was a heart-wrenching and surreal experience. The Key Bridge was an iconic structure that connected Baltimore City and Baltimore County, and many Marylanders drove over it on their daily commutes, over 30,000 cars crossing it a day. But now the bridge that once connected Marylanders divides our port from the rest of the shipping world as it lays in the water blocking the channel to the bay. Fortunately, we are not alone. President Biden and our congressional delegation have committed their full support, and Governor Moore's team is working closely with the Army Corps of Engineers, USDOT, and NTSB, and other federal agencies, while leveraging the resources and expertise of every agency and partner across the state. Even if you as a Marylander do not feel impacted personally by the Port of Baltimore, there is no debating its significance. In 2023, the Port of Baltimore supported over 51,000 direct, induced, and indirect jobs, generating more than $5 billion in personal wage and salary income for Maryland residents. Activity at the Port of Baltimore also generated $647.1 million in state and local tax revenue last year. Port workers and longshoremen, truck drivers and small business owners, and their families and communities are all concerned and suffering now. The General Assembly is considering legislation to help workers displaced by this tragedy, and I fully support those efforts that are being led by my former teammates in the legislature, Senate President Ferguson and Delegate Luke Clippinger. To support recovery efforts, my office, the Office of the Comptroller, is taking 3 immediate steps. 1, we announced Friday, March 29th, that we are extending the deadline for business tax payments until May 31st, 2024, and we will consider additional actions if necessary. 2, we're also focused on supporting our motor carrier community because so many truck drivers will be affected. As the agency tasked with enforcing certain tax agreements, we've also informed national agencies that will be temporarily waiving IFTA licensing and penalties for IFTA quarterly filers to mitigate the financial impact on Maryland's motor trucking industry. And we're asking our neighboring states to do the same. Finally, number 3, as the economists and revenue forecasters for the state, our agency is working closely with Governor Moore and his team to monitor the impacts of the bridge collapse on the business community, on Maryland's revenue forecast, and on our overall economic performance. And we'll assess the need for policy changes as needed for the duration of the state emergency declaration. Finally, I want to thank Governor Moore, Lieutenant Governor Miller, Mayor Scott, County Executive Olszewski, and Secretary Wiedefeld for their leadership, and thank our federal partners like USDOT, the Coast Guard, the Army Corps of Engineers, and more for supporting us in this time of need. As Francis Scott Key penned over 200 years ago, just yards away from this bridge, this is the land of the free and the home of the brave, and we will press on, and I know that we will emerge even stronger in the years to come. Onwards, Maryland.